Runnin' with the Devil, a rock and roll adventure. Part 4. I woke up to my bedroom being exactly the way it was. I opened my eyes, the next morning, to see my twisted sister, Stay Hungry poster to the left of my bed, as I always sleep on my left side facing the wall. I turned over and sat up quickly, seeing my Wasp, the Last Command poster, my Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance poster, all of my posters, right where they were before. I hopped out of bed, still in my sweatpants and I Love Puppies t-shirt. All my cassette tapes were back in their cases, neatly organized alphabetically, in the cabinet, just like they were. Next, I hit the closet, and you guessed it, all my Metal Gear was back, as well as my skulls and other metal-related objects on my desk. I stood in the middle of the room, and said, softly but excitedly, yes, it worked. Everything was exactly the same. Well, except the guitar. Instead of the guitar that my parents bought me, sitting in the corner against the wall, was what looked to be a brand new snakeskin PV, sitting in the corner, against the wall, just like Ricky's. Ricky must have sold his soul too, I thought. Beside the guitar was a small amplifier, the plugins, and a lightning bolt strap. I didn't have any of that stuff before. Cool, I thought. I then looked at my arm, 2556, now flashed on my right bicep. Okay, I said to myself, I can get anything I want, all I gotta do is ask for it, achieve my desires so to speak. I decided to start off small, and said, I want a cup of coffee. My eyes blinked, and there it was, sitting on the desk where I write my songs, a cup of freshly brewed hot coffee, with cream and sugar, just the way I like it. I smiled. I grabbed the cup, and took a sip. It was the best tasting coffee I ever had. I put the cup back on the desk, taking another sip first, and thought, okay, let's go a little bit bigger this time. I decided that I was not going to ask for money. Now, I know what you're thinking, what an idiot. I would have asked for tons of money. And yes, I could have done that. But, think about it, I was already getting anything I wanted just by asking for it, so money would have been pointless. I decided on a new car, my dream car, a 1967 Ford Mustang hardtop, fire engine red with flames on the side. So, I asked for it. My eyes blinked again, I ran downstairs as fast as I could, and whipped open the front door, looking anxiously toward the driveway. And there it sat. My old rust-covered Chevy Chevette. I was heartbroken. I hung my head, and shut the door. Well, I guess that's over, I whispered to myself, defeated. Just then, my mom came down the hallway, looking normal again, and said, Good morning, Michael. There's coffee in the pot, cereals in the cabinet, milk's in the fridge. I'm going to visit your Aunt Catherine in Virginia for the day. Your dad's working a double shift. So you'll be on your own for dinner, okay? See you tomorrow. Love you, honey. Bye. Love you too, Mom. Be safe, I said sadly. I started to walk back upstairs, completely disappointed, as she opened the front door. I was halfway up the stairs, when I heard my mom say, Michael, when did you get a new car? I perked up, turned around quickly, practically falling down the stairs. I ran to the door, whipped it open, almost hitting my mom. Hey, she said. Sorry, Mom, I replied quickly, as I anxiously looked toward the driveway. Once again, my eyes widened. No fucking way, I exclaimed loudly. Michael Patrick, name retracted for privacy, don't you use that language in this house, my mom said, in her best angry mom voice. Sorry, Mom, I said again, as I took off toward the driveway, hooting and hollering and jumping up and down with excitement. My mom got in her car, shaking her head, backed out of the driveway, and drove off down the road. I've got to show this thing off, I said, once I calmed down. Where are the keys? I began patting the pockets of my sweatpants. Damn, not there, I mumbled frustrated. I looked in the driver's side front window, and there, in the ignition, were the keys. Dumbass, I said, slapping myself on the forehead, they're in the car. I quickly ran back upstairs and got my wallet, and Sammy Hager's VOA cassette. I hopped in the car, fired that mother up, and man, did she sound nice. I put it in reverse, backed out of the driveway, and headed toward town. I'll add it to my insurance policy tomorrow, I thought. As I drove down our road, I came upon Susan's house. Ah, yes, Susan Meyer, the most beautiful girl in the world, at least I thought so. She was about 5'3" tall, curly brown hair, with beautiful bright green eyes and glasses. It didn't hurt that she was chunky in all the right places. No disrespect to any of you ladies out there. Anyway, she was out in the front yard walking her little Chihuahua dog. I think her name was Cupcake, or something cute like that. Anyway, I slowed down, as I passed her house, bent over to the passenger seat, so she could see it was me. I smiled, waved, and yelled out, "Hi, Susan," saying to myself, I want you so bad. I sat back up in the driver's seat, and started to speed back up. I just so happened to look in the rearview mirror, to see her waving her arms for me to stop and come back. My eyes widened again, as I hit the brakes harder than Mike Tyson hits his opponent. The brakes locked, the tires squealed and smoked just a little bit. I backed up to her house, leaned over to the passenger side window, as she walked toward the car, her dog in tow. She picked up the dog, holding it in her arms, and said, "Hi, I love puppies too," after obviously reading my shirt. "Do you want to go see a movie with me Friday night?" "Wait," I said, "you are asking me out?" "Yes," she responded with a smile. "What do you say?" I was completely in shock, as I sat there, mouth wide open, not believing what I just heard. The girl of my dreams is asking me out? I could barely get my tongue to work, as I muttered, "Yeah." She smiled that amazing smile and said, "Cool, pick me up at 8, nice car. Bye." She turned around, still holding the dog, and I watched her do her little bouncy strut, up the walkway and into the house. Lord, have mercy. If my memory serves me right, I think I actually had to wipe the drool off my lip. No, I'm not going to get into the details of that date. I'll just say that she's a very nice person, inside and out. Desire achieved. She went off to college soon after, and I heard she became a paranormal investigator. That's kinda cool. Anyway, I composed myself and continued driving to town. Once there, I put in the Sammy Hagar cassette tape, and fast-forwarded it to "I Can't Drive 55", and cranked it up. In retrospect, I probably looked like a complete idiot, driving up and down the main street of town, blaring a song saying, "I can't drive 55", while driving 25 miles an hour through town. As any driver knows, that's the speed limit in most small towns. But I was young, dumb, and thought I was cool. After about 30 minutes, I got bored driving around in circles, and that song was getting on my nerves. Besides, Reggie, the town sheriff, pulled in behind me on my last roll through, so I figured I'd turn it down and just head home, before I got into trouble. When I got home, the house was completely empty, so what better time to try out this new guitar, I thought. I went upstairs, to my room, plugged in the amp, plugged one end of the plug into the guitar, the other end into the amp, grabbed a pick, attached the strap to the guitar, put it over my head and on my shoulder, turned the amp on, waited for the hum. Stood like a rock star, and strummed an open E chord. "Oh, yeah," I said, as the sound filled my ears. "Now, to actually see if I can play this thing. I wanna play like a rock god," I said to the open air. I reached in one of my desk drawers and pulled out my Metallica Ride the Lightning tablature book, opened it up to my favorite song on that album, Fight Fire with Fire, grabbed a pick, positioned my hands on the fretboard, and began to dink out the notes, messing up, and trying again, over and over. Getting frustrated, I was about to give up, and put the book away, when suddenly, my left hand grabbed the fretboard tight, my right hand grabbed the pick, and together, they began wailing out this incredibly intricate freestyle solo. That would have made Steve Vai jealous. I tried to stop them, I really did, but I couldn't. It was like they had a mind of their own. After about 10 minutes of this, they stopped playing, and I regained control of my hands. I immediately unstrapped the guitar and tossed it across the room. It bounced off the bed and hit the floor. Massive feedback coming through the amp. I stood there, staring at my hands, completely flabbergasted. Holy fuck. I can play the guitar, I said happily. Well, at least my hands can. Suddenly, the phone rang. I ran down the hallway, to the stand where the phone sat, and picked it up, thinking it was my mom or dad. It was not. "Hello," I said, answering the phone. Hi. This is Ricky Blaze, not my old friend Ricky, another Ricky. May I speak to Michael?" "This is him," I replied. "Hey, dude," he said, "my bandmates and I are looking for a second guitarist, like Rat and Twisted Sister both have, and I wanted to know if you would like to come and audition for the spot." "Wait," I said, "who are you? How do you know my name? How did you get this number? And how did you know I could even play the guitar?" I asked. There was a long pause. I'm Ricky Blaze. Well, Richard Bellington really. I play guitar in a rock band called Blackened Image. I don't really know how I know all that stuff, dude. All I know is that some creepy looking old man walked up to me on the street, and told me to call this number and ask for you. It was really strange," he said. "So, do you want the audition?" "Yeah," I answered. "I always wanted to be in a rock band." "Great," he said. "You know that old abandoned church on Dead Man's Lane, right?" Now, I had been down Dead Man's Lane plenty of times, and I did not remember any church on that road, let alone an abandoned one. But I said, "Yeah, I know it." Cool, he said. 3 o'clock, at the church. See you then, later, dude. Later, I replied, as I hung up the phone. I stood there, in the hallway, totally confused. There's no church on that road.